This video is in response to one of the questions asked on one of the Facebook groups that I frequent. Now, I'm a UK business owner, owned a UK business for a number of years, so I know a little bit about VAT, and hopefully this explanation will help you out. So the question is, for sourcing, I'm still confused on what amount to add per item to take into account VAT. If I pay $5 for an item, do I add 20% to my purchase price to cover VAT, or do I determine what the selling price is and use that as 20% to cover the VAT costs? Well, it's not quite as simple as that. And this spreadsheet, I hope, will sort of help you identify what you need to take into account when you're buying an item to determine how much you're going to pay in VAT, which will then allow you to work out how much profit you're going to make. Now, I will say this is specific for people buying outside the EU. If you buy products inside the EU, you won't have to pay import duty, and VAT is normally taken into account in the product cost anyway. So if you're buying in the US, have a look at this spreadsheet, it'll help explain things. Now, we'll go through an example using the $5 buy cost that you put in your question. So if we say we're going to buy an item for $5 and we want to sell it for £20 in the UK, and we have an exchange rate of 1.675, which is close enough for today, that means we're selling it for $33.50, just to put it into US dollars, make it a bit easier to understand. And if we have a VAT rate of 20%, that means we're going to be paying £5.58 to the HMRC. We're going to be handing that money over, and that's going to come off our bottom line. Now, it's important to know that this payment, or this VAT that we have to pay, you're going to pay it in two separate parts. When you import the goods into the UK, you pay VAT on the actual import value, but there's some additional costs that you've got to take into account. If we go over and look at this buy column here, I put some notes, and it says the actual import VAT percentage rate is applied to the total value of all the goods. Okay, so this is going to include the price that you paid for the goods. It's going to include the cost of transport, postage and packaging, and I think there's a little bit more. Let me just edit this content. Edit that box. There we go. And we're going to pay VAT on postage, packaging, and insurance, and any duty that you might have paid. You know, if you're importing goods over a certain value, it's about £135, you're going to pay a duty on most products, and duty varies. Some products have zero duty, but some products go all the way up to about 80%, maybe even more. So that's important to bear in mind. The actual VAT you're going to pay is on the total value of the goods, including all those additional bits and pieces. For this example, we'll stick with $5. That's what we bought it for, and that's going to include insurance, cost, shipping, all that type of thing. So now back over to the VAT. Like I said, we're going to pay £5.58. So if we bought the goods, sorry, it's $5.58. If we bought the goods for $5, we're selling them for $33.50. You basically got to divide your sell price by 6, and that will give you your VAT rate. I've got here the FBA fees, and very simple calculation just for this example. I've chose £1.65, which includes your picking, packaging, your weight fees and things like that, plus 15% for a typical commission rate that Amazon receive. That will leave a profit of $15.13, giving us a 303% profit. That's pretty nice, isn't it? Now, the next row down, I've converted it into UK pounds. So it's taking the same figures. We're buying it for $5. We're going to sell it for £20. That means we're going to pay £3.33 to HMRC on the value of the goods. FBA fees, £4.65, profit of £9.03. Pretty easy. The next example down here, very, very similar. We'll use the $5 buy price, sell for £20, VAT rate is 0 in this case, which means we're not going to pay anything to HMRC. So that means our FBA fees, they're staying the same, but our profit increases. And that's why a lot of people, when they start selling in the UK from outside, they start with 0 rated goods because you don't have to pay VAT at all and your profit is going to increase. Hope that's been of some help. I will say this is the second time I've recorded this because I got my figures wrong the first time. So thanks to the chap in the Facebook group for highlighting that out to me and making me do this video again. If you've got any questions or maybe I've got my figures wrong again, let me know and I'll try and help out. Thanks a lot.